Okay, maybe that was a little dramatic, but what's not dramatic is that Instagram does know more about us today in 2021 than they ever have before. It's beyond just the photos we like and, people we follow. It's much, much deeper and crazier than that. In this video, I'm talking about the future of apps on your iPhone, how they're going to change, how they're going to evolve, and how some new changes Apple is going to put into place, some new rules, could change the way we use Instagram and other apps on our iPhone and future iPhones forever. And a huge thanks to Policy Genius for sponsoring this video. I'm sure we can all look back at the first images we posted to Instagram with very fond memories, or if you're like me, you kind of cringe a little inside at just how awkward and over-stylized those photos were. But hey, that was the time of Instagram. Back in 2010, 2011, when the service really first started up, it was all about taking those boring old photos you had sitting in your camera roll and stylizing them up and changing the way they looked, throwing a vignette filter on there. It was all about just changing photos, bringing them a little to life, and making them different and unique and sharing them in a new way that we had never really done before. Instagram has always been a very different social network. Even though it was around when Twitter and Facebook were also around and quite booming with success, it was always just a little different. It's funny to say this, but it almost gave us a little bit of an unfiltered look into the lives of our friends and families and other people we wanted to follow. Yeah, the photos were super over-stylized and a lot of crazy filters were applied, but it was just more genuine, raw, just kind of normal everyday stuff that you just wanted to share with friends and family and post to a new platform that wasn't like Twitter or Facebook. It was just something different. And as the years went on, Instagram kind of went from this niche photo sharing social network to one of the big social platforms that went head to head with Twitter and Facebook. And just 2 years after it launched in 2012, Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion. Seems kind of like a steal today and a bargain of a price to pay, seeing as what Instagram has become. But at the time, it was a whole lot of money, a big chunk of change to put down for what just seemed like a photo sharing social network.
Our mission around Instagram is we think Instagram is amazing and we want to help it grow to hundreds of millions of users. We want to help them out with whatever we can, but we have no agenda in terms of making them go onto our infrastructure or something. I know a lot of times companies force companies that they're integrating to do stuff like that. I think it's primarily a waste of time.
Now at the time, Facebook's founder Mark Zuckerberg talked all about Instagram and how much they loved it and how the two companies were going to do great things together and how this merger was just such a great thing. But quickly as time went on, Facebook got more and more involved with Instagram. And later it would come to light that Facebook didn't really just buy Instagram because the two were gonna be friends forever, but it was because Facebook saw Instagram as a threat to their platform. And instead of wanting to compete fair and square and kind of give users the best experience possible, they decided just to buy Facebook and bring them under the giant Facebook umbrella. Now look, I could talk all day about Facebook's shady business practices and the fact that they kind of just blatantly ripped off Snapchat stories instead of inventing something of their own for Instagram, but that's another video for another day. I want to talk right now about what Instagram is collecting about you, all the data they are siphoning away from all the little activities that you are doing inside the app and also outside of the app, and also what exactly Apple is trying to do to desperately stop it. Now look, I think we all know that Facebook is not in this business with our best interests at heart. They don't really seem to care about the user. What they do care about is collecting as much information as possible about you and I, because the more they know about us, the more they can know our interests and our hobbies, and the better targeted, the more creepy good those ads can be that we see on our Facebook newsfeed and on other, websites and platforms. And because Facebook owns Instagram, this kind of almost invasive privacy practices, this trying to collect as much info as possible, extends to all Facebook-owned apps. So WhatsApp, and in this case specifically, Instagram is kind of under these same practices as well. This means that Instagram just doesn't know your name and maybe your profile picture and whatever you put in your bio. They know much, much more than that. And it's beyond just the posts you like and the hashtags you follow and the messages you send. That's just the tip of the iceberg. It goes much, much deeper than that. In fact, I took a look at Instagram's data policy page to see exactly what information they're collecting, and I'll kind of spare you the details and spare you the boring stuff and just give you a few of the highlights. First off, Instagram says that they are analyzing what your camera sees when you use the camera within the app. Now, they say this is for filter purposes and you can add cool effects to your photos and stuff like that, but many think that it goes way beyond that. Because remember on Facebook, the people tracking and tagging that you could kind of, go to a random photo and Facebook would suggest a friend that could be in it, it's creepy good. And it got that way from studying millions and millions of photos. Actually, there's even currently a lawsuit from someone claiming that Facebook, and really in this case Instagram that's owned by Facebook, is illegally collecting and storing people's faces and biometric data without their explicit permission, even people who aren't even on Instagram. Next, if you signed up for Instagram and you maybe innocently hit that button to connect your contacts on your phones to Instagram so you can kind of see which friends and family members are already on the app, you might not have known that while